Today, we're going to dive into a story that almost sounds made up, a quiet, grassroots revolution that happened right inside the federal government. It's a story about coaching, yeah, but it's really a story about how huge, meaningful change can come from the most unlikely places.
So let's just try a little thought experiment. When I say the words government agency, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Go on, be honest.
Yeah, I'm guessing words like these showed up, right? Slow, bureaucratic, maybe not exactly a hotbed of new ideas. And look, that's a common perception for a reason. But the story we're about to unpack just completely flips that stereotype on its head. What if I told you that a handful of employees, armed with a big idea and pretty much zero resources, kicked off a movement that is fundamentally changing how government operates from the inside? Well, that's exactly what happened. Okay, so to really get what this revolution is all about, we have to understand the main tool they used. So what is federal coaching anyway? Because trust me, it's way more than just giving someone a bit of advice. So here's the official definition. And I want you to notice the key words here: partnering, thought-provoking, creative process. The whole point is that the person being coached is in the driver's seat. The coach is more like a guide, helping them unlock the potential that's already there. And this brings up a really important difference. We all kind of know what mentoring is, right? It's an expert sharing what they know, giving you advice. Coaching, though, is totally different. It's all about asking powerful questions so that you can find your own answers. You could say a mentor gives you the map, but a coach helps you draw your own. You know, every big movement starts with people, and this one was no different. It was just a small group of federal employees who had seen what coaching could do, and they had this incredible vision for what it could mean for the whole government. This quote from G.L. Salmon, one of those pioneers, really gets to the heart of it. This wasn't about pushing new rules or top-down orders. It was about something much more human, creating the space for people to actually listen and think in a system that, well, that usually doesn't have time for it. So their big idea really had two parts. First, on a practical level, just get more people using basic coaching skills, listening, asking good questions. But the bigger, more radical goal was to change the culture itself. They wanted to build a government where it was okay, even encouraged, to question how things have always been done. But right away, they ran smack into a brick wall. There was no policy for this, no infrastructure, and definitely no money for pricey consultants. So what did they do? Their solution was so smart, and it was born completely out of necessity. They just decided, fine, we'll build it ourselves. They started training their own colleagues, creating this internal team of coaches. And that was the spark that lit the whole fire. And that one simple idea, building from within, to get around the lack of resources, it just started to spread like wildfire. What began as this small, informal group of people helping each other out, well, it grew into something much bigger. I mean, just look at this timeline. You can literally see the momentum build. It starts with that first little group in 2006. Then, a few years later, they create a consortium to share what works. Then you have the huge upper room meeting in 2012, where it got official attention. From there, a real training program, and finally, an official government memo saying, yes, this is a real valuable thing. It went from a scrappy idea to an official institution. I just love this quote about that 2012 meeting. You can feel the energy in those words. This wasn't just another boring government meeting. It was a genuine turning point. It was the moment that this passionate bottom-up movement finally got the attention of leadership, and that created this incredible wave of change. But as you know, passion and energy can only take you so far in a giant organization. To make this thing last, to go from a grassroots idea to a grass-top strategy that leaders actually support, they had to prove this wasn't just some fluffy, feel-good initiative. They had to prove its value in a language leadership would understand. This was it. This was the big test. If they wanted the funding, the official policies, and the real support that had been missing since day one, they had to build a rock-solid business case for it. They had to show real, tangible results. And this is exactly how they did it. This was their secret weapon. They didn't just ask people, hey, did you like it? They used this serious 5-level evaluation model. And check out levels 4 and 5. They were asking the really tough questions. Is this actually moving the needle on our business goals? And is it worth the money? Answering those questions is what gave coaching real credibility. So after all that hard work, building networks, dodging obstacles, proving its worth, what's the result? What kind of impact has this unlikely revolution actually had on the culture of government?
Well, this whole story leaves us with a pretty amazing roadmap for how to make change happen anywhere. It proves that yes, it can start with just a few people and a good idea. But to make it stick, you absolutely need to collaborate and build a network. And eventually, you need a champion in leadership who can protect the idea and help it grow.
And the end result is a real shift. A shift away from that stereotype we started with. And this isn't just about people feeling better. It's about getting better results. A coaching culture creates leaders who listen, teams that solve problems better, and a workforce that's more engaged. It's building a government that can actually adapt and serve people more effectively.
You know, the pioneers of this whole movement started with this really powerful belief that something better was possible, even inside a system famous for being rigid. Their story is incredibly inspiring, and it kind of leaves us with one final, very personal question.
They proved that one person's big dream really can change the system. So I guess the only question left for us is, what's yours?